background information about some of the greatest musical compositions ever written. Tune in weekdays 9 to 10 a.m. and Wednesday from 9 to 10:30.
Minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 8th day of July, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we're broadcasting at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening anywhere else on the planet, you've gone to our website to do that, KSJE.com, or maybe you're listening through the app, the new KSJE app, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Anyway, glad that you are with us. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us this morning. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. Coming up in the next few moments, my guest today, Jamie Church, is here from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Lots, as always, to talk with her about, so stay tuned for that. Coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then, of course, we will check in with Amber Francisco from the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. Amber will be talking to us about some of the pets available for adoption this week, including Phineas. That is the dog you see on the screen right there, wearing his very seasonal lei around his neck. So there you are, coming up later on this hour at 8:50 a.m. Mick Hess will be here next hour, our classical music program, Roving with the Arts, of course. And you can also connect with KSJE on Instagram and Blue Sky and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast listener, a reminder to listen to KSJE podcasts, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and discover a new local program that you may have missed. And there it is, the new KSJE app. It is available at the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can download the app and take KSJ with you on the go and stay connected with us wherever you might be. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is a sunny Tuesday morning, 73 degrees already. It's going to be another hot and sunny day today with a high of 93 in Farmington, 65 degrees overnight, sunny and warmer tomorrow with a high of 95 on Wednesday, 93 for a high again Thursday, 92 Friday, 91 on Saturday and Sunday. Again, lower 90s to early next week. And then overnight lows, as you can see, in the mid to upper 60s. Back with my guest with more right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The caregivers of San Juan Regional Medical Center are committed to bettering the quality of life, health, and care of individuals, families, and our communities. Life is their sacred trust. Better is their mission. Here is their home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. KSJE is proud to support Music in the Mountains, the 4-week classical music festival based in Durango, Colorado. Beethoven Lives Upstairs, the family concert and dinner, 5:30 p.m. Wednesday, July 23rd at the Community Concert Hall at Fort Lewis College in Durango. Music in the Mountains, July 10th through August 3rd, 2025. Find out more at musicinthemountains.com. Back in Studio A with my guest this morning. Jamie Church is here from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to this side of the Atlantic Ocean,
Yeah,
Ms.
I'm
Church.
back on this side of the pond.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I was just sitting here downloading the new app.
Thank you for doing that, the
congratulations.
KSJE app. Thank
yes,
you very much. So.
Very exciting.
Now I'm never far from you
Yes,
on your phone.
anytime I need to find out what's happening.
Yes, exactly.
I will open the app.
Right.
But yes, back from vacation and hit the ground running as soon as
your
we
board
got
chair
back.
did a great job for you last month,
yes,
by the
I
way.
listened,
We want to do a shout out to Vince Moffat, who was here
thanks,
for
Vince.
you last month while you were gallivanting across Europe.
Yes, I do want to, we had a wonderful time. Good. And I do want to say that I'm been following up on something I started while I was there. I reached out to the Norfolk Chamber of Commerce. They have chambers of commerce in England as well. So we were staying in Norfolk County.
Is that what they call it, or not some other fancier name?
No,
I'm
they
surprised.
Call it Chambers of
really?
Commerce, yes.
Oh, I'm a little disappointed.
So
England. Okay.
I was going to try to actually meet with them and their team and just compare and see that I realized it's a little harder to get around in England I mean, I knew they drive on the other side of the road,
right.
but when you can't drive, it's a little harder to get around. So anyway, I didn't get to connect with them in person, but we are going to be scheduling a Zoom meeting at some point with myself and their team just to compare, like, what do they do in their chambers of commerce? What are their challenges? What are their opportunities?
Right.
I follow them on Facebook now, so I see their events, and there's a lot of similarities. But anyway, that was kind of neat to think about other countries having similar types of organizations and the business advocacy groups. So I want to definitely follow up on that with them.
Interesting. And probably a little bit of a different business environment maybe in England than in the United States, right?
Yes.
So maybe not so many big box stores and things like that. At least that's what I would think.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm looking forward to that phone call. They had a big event that they were working on, and so they were wanting to get through their event. And then I have a big event on Friday.
Right.
So it's going to take a little bit of scheduling, and there's a big time difference. So I'll probably have to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning in order to connect with them during their workday.
For an afternoon meeting there, sure.
Exactly. So anyway, but very fun to think about doing.
Yeah, nice. Well, let us know how it goes.
I will.
That sounds exciting. You mentioned a big event on Friday. I think I've heard about it.
Yes.
The Music by the Pond event.
Yes. So this is one of our big signature events that we do, and it starts out with a golf tournament, which is called Tees and Tunes. And
it's been sold out for months.
It has been sold out for months. And then at the end of that, when the golfers come in, we just sort of start the music. So right about 5:30, it all takes place at the San Juan Country Club. And this is just one of these events that we do to kind of recognize our members, but also to give our members that opportunity again to do some networking, socialize with other chamber members. But we have people that aren't chamber members that are coming to this as well. So great way to highlight the country club, the golf course, outdoor recreation, our beautiful weather, fingers crossed, the chamber, what we do. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
And it is sold out. So that is happening on Friday.
All right,
It's very exciting.
Very true. We're glad we got our tickets when we did because
very good.
It's sold out. That happens every year.
And we had a very busy week towards the end of June. Not only did our Chamber Board of Directors do strategic planning, so we do strategic planning like most nonprofit organizations about every 3 years, but we also had two big ribbon cuttings. One of them was at the Wave, the new Wave feature down at the river. And I did see, in fact, I shared it on Facebook, that they're going to be offering some demos and sort of for if you want to try this new sport, the surfing in the high desert of Farmington, the Animus surfers are going to be down, and I can't remember the date, but they're going to be like helping you get on equipment or learn about the equipment. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then that same week, we had a ribbon cutting for the Wally D Sports Awards Foundation.
The foundation,
and
right?
That's a relatively new foundation.
Program last week too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
or 2 weeks ago.
That happened, and that was at the Civic Center. So that was a lot of big ribbon cuttings, a lot of things happening in our community.
Very true.
Very exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Wave thing is really cool. I
is.
just was there with Warren Unsecker, the city's economic development director. We did it on the road show.
Oh, nice.
And there were people there using it. He said, I think since the ribbon cutting, people have been there every day.
Oh, good.
Using it. I think he said mostly people from Durango that have come down because of the feature, and they've been really enjoying it. And I think as more people learn about it and maybe get practiced on it and things like that, it will become more of a local attraction too.
I think so. And I know there was talk at the ribbon cutting about at some point maybe having sort of a equipment rental or something there. So, and I like the idea that the Animus, I think is it the Animus River Surfers? Anyway, they're a group of surfers that are coming down from Colorado. And they'll, be able to help people learn. Because it's not, I watched it and went, it's not something I can just get on a board and go, because you do need to know how to do it. But I think it'll be really fun. Great attraction. Something so unique to our area. So that's great.
Definitely. And I wasn't aware until I talked to Warren a little bit about how, rivers have some of these naturally occurring wave features. And that's where this club, I guess, goes most of the time. And they'll find there's a few spots maybe up in the Durango area where the river does that when the water's high enough, right? But this is the first one that's somewhat adjustable and can react to flows in the river, and it's wider than most of the naturally occurring wave features, and so I think that's what makes it so likable by these folks, is they've got room to kind of move around on their surfboard or whatever it is they're
it's
using.
Really fun. It was really fun that day to watch. And then the other thing that we went to that week, which was another event that we attended as Redcoats, and at the Chamber was a celebration they did on the Fly Farmington. So Fly Farmington now has been going on for a while, and I think they're very pleased with the occupancy or the rate that people are using.
These are the new commercial flights
the commercial
resuming
flights
out of Farmington Airport.
United. That's right. So that is very exciting that is happening, and that people are using those flights. So
That's
that was
good.
something else that we were a part of, is just sort of celebrating and recognizing that, and getting an update from Mike Lewis, from
Right.
the regional airport manager.
Well,
So-
today is July 8th. We're about the 2-month mark.
Yes, I think so.
From May 8th when they started, right?
Right.
So,
So that was all in 1 week. It was very busy.
No wonder you went on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Exactly, but but that is exciting, and that's important too. I think that folks continue to use those flights, or at least check them when they're making their travel plans, and
Right.
just see, because I
Right.
think, again, like any airline, there are certain numbers of seats that are priced lower.
Right.
As the planes fill up, the fares go up, because
Right.
it's a supply
More
and demand
demand,
kind of thing.
exactly.
So if you can check and see, you might be pleasantly surprised as you're
Exactly.
planning your trip.
And I think as it's utilized more and more, there might be other opportunities coming in, but
Yeah.
it's just exciting. And so that was great to get an update on that. And so there are a lot of great things that have been going on, and a lot of great things coming up.
Right.
So
I
you
was-
mentioned the music by the pond.
Right.
What were you going to ask me?
I
Sorry.
was just going to say, I was surprised when Mike Lewis kind of turned it around a little bit and said that, did you realize now that Farmington is one stop away from Frankfurt, Germany?
Oh, wow. Because
by air, because if it's a
Denver
direct
goes
flight
direct to flight
to
or
Denver.
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And other
Yes.
international
And
destinations
Heathrow,
too.
well, in England.
See?
Yes, Denver to Heathrow.
So
yeah.
just one stop for,
Yeah.
for people coming maybe back the other way too.
Yes, exactly.
For visitors. So anyway, I just thought that was,
That was very cool. Yeah,
I
that's
found
right.
that's interesting.
Yep.
As Miss International Traveler.
Yes, Miss International.
You would have some
Well,
insights on that,
yeah.
perhaps. But yes. But yeah.
Okay, so what else is coming up? So we have the July, now we're in July. Focus on Farmington Coffee. We're going to go to that. And so that's for the Medical Foundation, the Focus on Farmington Coffee, 25 years for the Medical Foundation. So that is going to be at the Connolly House.
Right.
And then we have the Business After Hours, which is what you have on the screen.
I'm gonna show
for
that right
Four
now.
Corners Community Bank.
Right.
And so that's the 24th. So the Medical Foundation, they're focused on Farmington Coffees at the Connolly House. It's the free coffee, starts at 9 a.m., and everybody's welcome to attend. And then Business After Hours is at Four Corners Community Bank downtown, and they're going to have food and drinks and probably some fun giveaways. And so that will be celebrating their 25th.
Nice.
Year. So that's
Right.
a lot of 25s.
That
We've
is a
got
lot of
some
25s.
Big celebrations.
That's
of
true.
25s.
Congratulations to both.
Yes.
And what's the date for the Focus on Farmington Coffee? Is that going to be that
Friday
Friday?
the 18th.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's Friday the 18th.
Okay.
So I'm looking right now.
That's a week from
Got
this
lot of
Friday.
dates. That's
I got it.
exactly right. So
And
Friday
then-
the 18th.
And then the following Thursday will be this
Yes,
Business After
Business
Hours
After
at the Four
Hours.
Corners Community Bank, which is
Right.
right there at
Right.
Main and Auburn,
Exactly.
across the street from another bank.
Yes,
that-
another new building bank, which
Right.
is very exciting. I got to tour it the other day, and it's really, really nice. So
Do we know of a ribbon cutting yet over there, or we
not
can't
yet.
announce it yet?
Not
Okay.
yet, because
All
I
right.
know they still want to do some work on getting the parking lot done and
Gotcha.
the old building and that coming down and things like that.
Gotcha.
So there will be a ribbon cutting at some point.
And probably an open house or something for
Oh
folks
yeah,
to come
I
take a
think
look.
so.
Yeah,
but
Okay.
it is
Just-
really beautiful. But yeah, we really appreciate Four Corners Community Bank, and they've been a very active and supportive chamber member for a number of years. So we're really happy that we could get that Business After Hours in the month of July. So you can, if you're a chamber member, or I always like to say, if you're a chamber member but you know somebody else who has a business, invite them to come with you, even if they're not a chamber member.
Right.
We want everybody who's interested in helping to support local business, or who's interested in knowing more about the chamber, to attend these Business After Hours and the Focus on Farmington Coffees. They're all great ways to not only talk about what you do and meet new people, but you learn so much about what's happening in the community, and so how you can get involved in what's important to you. So if you want to volunteer, for the animal shelter, or you want to know more about the Tres Rios Habitat for Humanity, or what's going on in the community, if you go to these events, you always end up really broadening your network of people and potential clients and business colleagues
True.
as well. So
Very true. That reminds me of the last one that you did, which was, I think, hosted by the Tri-City
it
Record.
was Tri-City Record.
And had a really good turnout
Yes.
at Artifacts.
It
And it
was
seemed like a
packed.
really big crowd
It
and a
was.
lot of mix of people that were there. And so that's
Yes.
kind of what you hope for when you plan these things. And I think
Exactly.
that what the businesses hope for, too, is they sponsor or host them, too.
Yes, exactly. And so we actually came up with a few months ago a list of guidelines and suggestions that when a business reaches out to me and says we want to do a business after hours, first thing I do is check the calendar, because
Right.
we only do 12 a year, because
Sure.
we do one a month. And so let's see if we can even, have an open date. But then we send out these suggestions and guidelines, because we want your business after hours to be as successful as possible. So we want, you to have a great turnout. We promote it through our Facebook page, through our radio spots like
Yeah.
this on KSJE, and on our Facebook and newsletter, and we talk about it because we really want you to have a good turnout at your business after hours. So we have some suggestions of just things to think about. And we also know that our guidelines and suggestions don't necessarily fit with every business. Not every chamber member is a great fit for a business after hours. We find that's especially true with nonprofits.
Right.
So that's why we have these options for the coffees. So if a business after hours isn't going to fit, or we don't have an open month, then we look at a coffee and say, why don't we switch? And that just happened recently with a new member, actually, in Aztec. The Leonore Hotel in Aztec is a member of our Farmington Chamber, and we had looked at trying to schedule a business after hours, just didn't work. So we just switched it, and now she'll be hosting a Focus on Farmington coffee
Nice.
in August, as well as her ribbon cutting. So we do try to look and say, what can we do that fits best with you and what your business model is and your capacity? That's a big part of it. And work with the individual businesses so that
Sure.
they're successful.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's great. So
There you
important to remember that.
Yes.
And I think the other thing too, you just had an event down at Quill and Quest.
Yes.
They've been open for a while, but you had another kind of not a reopening, but just kind of a celebration now
Right.
that now that they're going and they've got
Right.
a few months under their belts, kind of a thing, right?
Right. So when they first opened and were ready, so it was actually Valentine's Day, I remember that.
That's right.
We did a Focus on Farmington coffee there, because again, Focus on Farmington coffees, I'm willing to work with anybody who wants to do a coffee. And so I thought, let's do one at Quill and Quest. So we did it on February 14th. It was great. And now we did their ribbon cutting because they were really officially ready to open their coffee bar. So that is now open. So you
Right.
can actually go in and they can make a cup of coffee for you there. They have baked goods that are all gluten-free, by the way. So all their, if you're gluten-free, this is a great place to go.
Yeah.
So we thought, what a great opportunity to do the ribbon cutting and their kind of grand opening. And it's been fun to watch them with how they started their business, getting the word out, using social media, and doing all these pop-ups. And they still do pop-ups, but that's how they kind of got the word out that they were going to be opening. And then they got their permanent location, and I was very glad it was downtown. And then they built up the business, and then they got the coffee bar going. So really interesting to see how they've done it. And yeah, great.
Nice.
Great to have a
Yeah.
bookstore down there. Independent bookstore, I want to say,
Right.
down there.
Very,
Yeah,
very
locally
true.
owned.
In that space that had been a bookstore for
Yes.
for those of us who've been around for a while.
Yes.
But yeah, for a long time, and then was not, and now we have a local bookstore that's back downtown, which
very
is another
exciting.
important thing. So that's good. That's
Yeah.
good to know. Very cool.
So yeah, the business after hours, we host one a month. We try to have them towards
Mm-hmm.
the end of the month, and just to get the people into the chamber members' businesses. They're usually in the evening. Well, they're always in the evening because that's why they're called business after hours.
After hours. That's right.
Interesting. I belong to a chamber network on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the chamber members, all the different places of the country, were saying their business after hours are struggling. And so I offered to send out my guidelines to anybody who needed it.
Yeah.
So I emailed it out to probably 12 different chambers who requested it, because our business after hours I think are very successful. And so what are we doing that makes ours successful where some other chambers are struggling to get
Right.
people to attend there? So I just shared those guidelines with these other chamber executives and said, this is what we do. And yeah, so ours are growing and in demand.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway.
Very good. And I know during the summer you kind of some of the regular chamber events kind of take a little hiatus for the summer. I think some of your lunch and learns and things
Yes.
like that I think are on a little bit of a break until maybe the fall. And so that's some of the other things that you've got going on too that usually happen.
Speaking of lunch and learns, which we now kind of call business workshops, we do have one coming up, and that is on AI marketing
okay.
for small businesses.
Oh.
And we collaborate now with the SBDC on those.
Right.
So Carmen and I work we set the schedule, and we work to get speakers. And so I know that we've got one coming up in July on AI marketing for small business. It is free, but you do have to register. So that information is in our newsletter. It's also on our Facebook page under events. So if you are a small business and you're trying to figure out this whole AI thing, which is huge, and it seems like it's just
huge,
continually where people are utilizing it in ways that we never thought of. But if you're a small business and you're thinking I would love to take that workshop, all you have to do is go online, register for that. So that's available.
Gotcha.
And then in August we will be holding another one on QuickBooks for small businesses. That will be with Allie Davis. She is a CPA in town. She did one last year, very well attended, and so we're going to be bringing that back. So
you're not taking a break over the summer?
Not
basically
really.
What I mean.
Not
okay.
really. We do a couple things.
Corrected.
A few things we've backed off on. We had for a good year a Zoom every third Wednesday. We had a noon Zoom networking, virtual networking.
Right.
So what we found is we had so many things going on that the Zoom was sort of maybe fading out a little bit. So we've decided to just have that maybe once a quarter to update chamber members on the events happening during a quarter, let them do some networking online. But we felt like every month, in addition to all the other things, was maybe becoming too much. So, and we do that with events and things from time to time. Our board, our strategic planning, we look at everything we do and we say, how is this relevant anymore? Is this important to the members? If they're not utilizing it, then it probably isn't.
Sure.
Or what other things are happening in our community now that maybe are sort of serving that purpose. A good example was the parade. The chamber used to do the Christmas parade. For years we did the Christmas parade. Well, we were able to partner with another group, the Young Professionals Network, and they did the Christmas parade in 2024, and it was a great success. And so they'll be doing the parade from now on, the Christmas parade.
Right.
And then we just had the Freedom Days parade, which of course the chamber wasn't involved with at all, but we helped to put it in our newsletter. We helped to share, especially, when they were looking for entries.
Right.
So we really look and go, okay, this organization has taken this on. This is important to the community. How can we help support that organization and what they're doing?
Right.
So that's kind of the role we play when we're no longer doing an event or just maybe doesn't fit within the chamber's mission anymore.
Right.
So.
Well, and you're still promoting it. You're still connecting commerce to community, which is part of your mission. And,
exactly.
And so that's an important thing as well. And I know the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, too, is the planning for the fall event, the big fall event, the Women's Summit, right?
Yes.
Professional business.
Yep.
Four
Corners Professional Women's Summit.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And the tickets will go on sale for that August 1st. Our theme this year is navigating leadership with presence, power, and purpose. There are 3 P's in there. I might have gotten them quite slightly off, but the whole point is it's about how do you find your leadership style and make sure that it is in balance with who you are personality-wise. So sometimes we think I'm supposed to be a leader, which means I have to be this outgoing, extroverted, in charge person. That's not necessarily true. If that's not your personality style, then there's a lot of ways to be a leader in your community, your networks, your job, where you can take what's your personality style and your strengths, and you can then still be a leader. And so it's just about how do you find that leadership style? How do you navigate that? We've got some great speakers. We have 2 that are coming in. One is coming in from Durango, one from California. We have somebody who's going to be doing sort of a leadership assessment during the day, not True Colors, but something similar to that. And then we will have our keynote speaker is Shauna Reeves with the City of Farmington. She actually spoke at the summit several years ago to a standing ovation when she finished. And just watching her journey as a leader in our community has been amazing. So she will actually be our opening speaker first thing in the morning.
She is now the assistant city manager.
Assistant city manager,
yes.
So her journey through leadership has been really incredible. And so just very excited with the speakers that we have and the sponsors, of course, that continue to support this.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
and
cool.
Don't wait. I got to say, when tickets go on sale August 1st, please don't wait, because it will sell out. And there's nothing harder for me than when I get people a week before saying, can we please get tickets? And I just absolutely don't have any more tickets. So
Right.
please don't wait. to get
Exactly.
tickets.
And I wanted to ask you a bit about that whole theme of leadership and things
Yes.
like that. And I know it's a women's summit, but it's open to men and women.
Yes,
and
and
the
students.
messages and students. And the message is, I think, relevant to all.
Yes.
But do you think that maybe women have a different
I think
perspective when it
so.
comes to leadership or their personality, I guess? Because
Yes.
sometimes I think women, we say that they come across differently than a man doing the exact
Yeah.
same thing. It just
Yes.
seems to me. I don't know what I'm trying to
and
say,
I
but you
think
do.
I can only take this from my personal perspective.
Sure.
But as a leader, somebody in the
Yes.
community that sort of naturally an extrovert, naturally a big idea person, let's do this, and a connector of people. But where I feel like it's different maybe than somebody who's a man in a leadership role is I want to please everybody. I want to make everybody happy. I want to accommodate everybody. That's what I just said about tickets. Please don't call
Right.
me a week before because I will be worried about it and I'll try to make it. I want to make everybody happy. And I think that sometimes as a leader, that's just not always possible. There are times when you make a decision and people are going to be mad. And I think for me personally, that's one of the differences where sometimes I think men maybe in leadership roles just say, well, this is what we're going to do. And they're not
Right.
maybe they're not mulling it over in their brains for days and days afterwards.
For sure.
Did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did
Right.
I present that in the right way? So to me, that's, part of it.
Sure. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yes,
for
and
some
making
people.
decisions is hard, and sometimes whether it's in a board meeting or with events or, sometimes I have to make decisions that I'm like, I know people everybody's going to be happy with this decision, but you do as a leader try to look at all of the information you have, what your goals are, what your mission is, and for the students that attend the Women's Summit, and we always scholarship about 50 students, we want them, it doesn't matter, like you said, men can attend this, women, students, anybody can attend this. But what's your leadership style? As you're emerging, as you're coming out of high school,
Right.
you're getting ready to graduate, looking at your future, it's overwhelming. So what's your leadership style? How do you want to become involved? How do you want to take whatever it is that you end up doing in your life? And what kind of leader will you be? In leadership, San Juan talk a lot about servant leadership. What does that mean? And then how do you, maybe give back to your community in a leadership kind of way? So I think it's going to be really a good summit.
Sounds like a great
Yeah.
a great message.
Yes.
And great speakers coming in to share that
Yes.
as well and to help folks maybe discover their style and things like that. Because it sounds like to me, even though you are an extrovert, then you have certain
Yes.
leadership attributes. People could be introverted and I think still be leaders.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if you take somebody who's more a leader in sort of a smaller group, great with getting teams connected, great
Right.
with getting all the things done that need to be done to make initiatives successful. But if you try to take a person like that and put them in a really extroverted, out there role, it can cause a lot of stress, which then can cause a lot of physical things. And it's not to say we shouldn't stretch ourselves, because I think everybody has a little more potential sometimes. And so it's good sometimes to get out of the box. It's good sometimes to stretch yourself, but you don't want to take it on if it's going to cause you, like I said, physical stress.
Sure.
And so everybody can serve, everybody can be a part of initiatives. So it's just kind of finding what works for you. And so that I think is we're going to get a lot out of this summit. And that people can come from very diverse circumstances and be leaders in their community.
True.
What happened in your past does not absolutely have to define how you can become part of your community or how you can be a leader. So I think that's another important message that'll come out of this as
Very
well.
true.
So,
And it doesn't matter if you're younger or older
No.
or whatever.
yeah, that's
So,
right. Younger, older.
In between?
In between.
Yeah, good message.
So I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
Tickets go on sale in
August
August.
1st.
August 1st. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Jamie, we're out of time. I'm
What?
sorry to say. We are, I know.
And I didn't even know what we were going to talk about.
See, and here we are. But that's all right. Never at a loss for words. Neither one of us.
I
So
know, it's true.
That's true. But good to have you here. Glad you're
Thank
back
you.
safe and sound
Thanks.
from your travels, and we'll see you again next time.
All right.
Thank you very much. That's Jamie Church from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, my guest right here on KSJE.